So this is kind of linked almost, is when we come out of this official lockdown, do you think that going back to the tiered system is the best approach? And also, this is one that's been raised with me a lot. Was the 10 p.m. curfew worth it and effective? And how would you know? How would we measure that?
Let's start with the tier approach. I think for all areas in the country, as we come out of lockdown, we cannot go back to zero, because everywhere in the country will be at different places, different points in the pandemic. If you look back to the first wave, we went into the first wave perhaps a little bit late for London, and we came out of the first wave perhaps a little bit too early for the north, you know. So, and that's because the levels of infection in these two areas were very different. So we cannot adopt a blanket approach to the different regions. And it'll be the same for us when we come out of the second wave. It'll depend on how much infections there are in each part of the country, really. So going back to a tiered approach makes sense. And many countries are doing that. And Scotland's got the tiered approach as well, as you know. So it makes sense. In terms of whether the restrictions worked before, as I said, even before we went into lockdown too, the restrictions that it introduced in Liverpool and certainly here were already starting to make inroads, have an impact on the virus, really. Whether that impact was big enough, that remains to be seen, but it was having an impact. And I want to stress that because I know a lot of businesses, especially the nighttime economy, and the restaurants, bars and pubs, they must have really struggled with all these restrictions. So I guess I'd like to say that their sacrifices are in the public interest and are worth it.